What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Give me a shout out in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from and if you can hear me. And I guess if you can let me know where you're watching from, that would let me know that you can hear me. All right, so we are working on this master mega mockup file. Say that 3 times really fast and tell me if you're gonna need a glass of water. What's up, Eve? Hey, Patrina and Tracy. Hello, love. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get into this thing for tonight because I want to make sure that you all get the gist of what we're doing tonight. Of course, I like to do a little demo just to get your mouth watering before class, right? Okay, so for this one, I did do a template for you all. I think you'll like this one. It's a nice, fresh, very, very, very simple template. It looks crazy, but it's very simple. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to do a logo change and a color change. So let me see what we can change this into because I haven't thought this out. I'm just doing this on the fly. So since we're just doing this as an example, somebody throw out there for me a theme, whether it be a cartoon character, a team, any kind of theme where I can basically draw some color inspiration and this design really quickly. Now, what I want you to do in class is I want you to use your logo for your business. And if you don't have a logo, then that's fine. I want you to find a logo that that kind of resembles, maybe even some clip art that resembles what you would want as a logo. Because once we're done, you'll have a cool little mock-up of some very different type of substrates that would catch your customer's eye. And I would love for it to have your logo all over it. All right, Columbia, South Carolina, Colorado. All right, Memphis is in the building. Okay, somebody asked me to come to Memphis. We shall see. All right, let me give y'all a little moment here because I know there's a lag too. All right, and I need something that has multiple colors just so I can kind of show you the different colors that we can kind of add to and not use if we don't want to. So I want to kind of avoid a monochromatic scheme for this one. All right, let's see. We have Steelers and lupus awareness. Now, I know Steelers has several colors, but I think they mainly like just use the yellow and black and gray. And lupus awareness, I believe it's purple. So I'm trying to think of what other. Oh, we're doing this tonight in class, Patrina. So if you join us in class, and if you can't, oh, Care Bears, that's the good one. Oh, Corey would love that. She loves Care Bears. I like Care Bears. I was trying to think of something that just had multiple colors. So let's find an image for inspiration because I want y'all to get into all the ways we can use colors. So Care Bears. I don't know if it's one word or two. I guess it's two. Let's see what kind of image we can find. Now, what we're looking for, we're going to just change out the logo, but the idea is that I want you to have some kind of color palette to go from. So I'm not even really using the image. Oh, actually, you could use the image because you can use it in the background. So let's say this image. Just go right click, open image in a new tab. Save image as, and this is not a high resolution image. So we're going to save this right here. And I'm going to turn on my color swatches here, right? Then I'm going to drag and drop the image that we just brought in from the Care Bears. And make it big enough where I can see those pixels. And let's go ahead and change out the color swatches here. So I'm going to make the color swatches larger. we'll start with the color number 1. Just double click on it. Oh, I know it. This is what I'm going to show y'all how to do. So instead of us worrying about loading up the color picker, we're going to make our own custom swatches, okay? So let's do that together. Let's do our color picker tool. Let's say the primary color is going to be this pink. So we'll pick that pink. I'm going to double click on the swatch there. I'm going to add it to my swatches. I can name it Care Bear Pink. And then I'm going to do Care Bear, and then I'll type the word pink, and I'm going to copy that because all of my colors are going to be called Care Bear colors. So it's going to add it to my current library. I'll say OK. Boom, that's my Care Bear pink. And then let's do the purple. Maybe that purple. Yeah, I like that contrast there. So I'm going to add that to my swatches. We'll call that Care Bear Purple. P-U-R-P-L-E. Let's say OK. Go on to the next color. Let's do Care Bear Gold. There we go, right there. So let's go add the swatches. Care Bear Gold. And pick one more color. I don't think we've done a blue. So let's do that blue. So we'll say OK. Oops, I lied. It wasn't supposed to say OK. We were supposed to add the swatches before we did all that. So we'll call that blue. All right, so now we can cancel all that. What I've done is essentially just save those colors that we're working on because we have a lot of colors to deal with, and this is what I kind of want to show you all with this setup. So 1, 2, and 3 are, you know, the main colors that you're going to be changing. I have a black and a white here. That can also be changed to any color, but if you want to keep your image grounded, you want to have one neutral color in there. So let's go ahead and change them on out. So Smart Color 1, I can double click on it. And for this one, I'm going to duplicate just so I keep the original color scheme if y'all like that. So this one I will, oh, I don't see my swatches. I can come up here to swatches. And if you don't see swatches, I'll show you how to do that in class. You'll just go to window and under color, should be under swatches. See how it says swatches right there? If I click on it while it's already checked, it goes away. But if you don't have it and you click on swatches, it will appear. Okay, so if you notice, I have some swatches here. I'm going to click on my pink, close out, save it. And notice that my image updated with the pink. So same thing here. I'm going to move on to my move tool. Let's go to Smart Color 3 is that one. And then let's right click, let's duplicate the layer, double click on that one, and let's go ahead and go to our swatches and let's choose purple. Now the whole point of this class is not really the design that we're doing right here, although I think you're going to get a really fun and nice result with this. I just want you to know that our focus is going to be on the mock-up, and you are going to be creating your own mock-up. So although this is fun and cute, we are going to spend very little time on this, which should make you happy because that means that you're going to be able to edit and design this in probably less than 5 minutes. So that should be a very good and cool tool for your business. Let's duplicate that. And let's change this color to the third color. I think that's, we said the gold there. And because of you all, I'm getting much better and more efficient with designing these templates. All right, so the more I do them, the better and more concise. Not meaning the less time I spend on them. I spend a lot of time on them, but I think that it makes it something that you all can edit a lot quicker and understand easier too. So right now where I have this darker color, I'm going to decide to change that instead of the dark gray. Let's go ahead and choose that blue color. And I'm going to get rid of that one. Let's duplicate this layer. And let's pick the blue. So now I have 4 totally different colors in my design, but they all should be working together really well. Okay, and this is pretty much ready to go. I do have a pattern in the background, so y'all are going to get this pattern. And this pattern just happens to be, let me close up some of these layers and groups. Because the thing is, you won't even have to go into those unless you want to change the colors of these specific color placements. So let's say for this pattern back here, you have this floral theme. And of course, you'll be able to change it to anything else. So instead of changing it, because last time I showed you a theme and I think you wanted to kind of stick with that. So let me duplicate this layer. And we will turn off one of the layers so that we can edit. Let's turn that one off and edit this one. Now you don't have to use a pattern at all in the background, and it looks like a totally different image, right? So I want you all to keep that in mind. There's a little bit of like a textured paper background here. You can color the background whatever you like to turn off that purple there. And you could do a solid color to the background, or you can just pick a new pattern. So for this one, I actually think that the gold flowers there look pretty cool, but we need to do something different. Let's see, what patterns do I already have on here? So let's go with that gingham. Or maybe the polka dots. What do y'all think? I'll put both of them in here if y'all want that. And you can change the scale of it. So let's say we want it to be a little bit bigger. Let's increase that scale a little bit. And then let's apply one of our colors. And we can kind of easily recolor this. And if you like white, I think white is our color number 5. I just didn't add it. Let me go ahead and add it to the background. So if you want white back there, you have that option. Like I said, we are not going to spend a whole lot of time on this part because we're going to spend time mocking up. All right, and then let's go ahead and delete that layer mask, and I'm going to clear the layer style, and I'll change this blend mode to color, and it makes it black and white, of course, because all it's doing is pulling the color from it and replacing it with whatever hue is there. So white doesn't have a hue, black doesn't have a hue, it's just grayscale. Whenever we replace that color with any color here, it replaces that grayscale with the color. And I think I told y'all I'll put I think for this one, honestly, I want to choose no pattern. I want to see what it looks like with just the watercolor there. Now, in this case, we did say that we were going to change out the logo, but let's say you are a specific Care Bear. Like everybody has a Care Bear that represents them, right? Let's see, what is Sunshine? I think is it Sunshine Care Bear? Yep, there it goes. So let's see what Sunshine has going on. I want the little colored version, like that doesn't look too flat. That looks real pixelated. Excuse me. So I don't want you to spend too much time. You can do an image or you can do your logo. I really want you to do your logo. By the end of this, I want you to have something that you can showcase. But if you must, I'm going to go ahead and open this image in a new tab and show y'all how bad it is, but we're going to use it. Save image as, and we'll call this the bear. Now, if you're going to bring in a logo, go ahead and make sure that it's already cleaned up. I'll show you how we can use remove BG. There we go. And really there's no difference between the high definition one. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and download the preview or free image version. There we go. And for this one where you have your logo image, I'm just barely clicking on it. You have to make sure you're actually touching the logo because this is an open image. I'll double click where the logo is. And let's drag and drop our PNG Care Bear there. Boom. And imagine this is your logo. So it can be a logo, it can be a character if that's something that you want to do for yourself. But the idea is that this is what's going to represent your lineup, your mock-up. So we'll update that. It has saved here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this image now because I was just using it to get the colors from it, to show you all different ways that you can do color inspirations. But if you just so happen to be doing this maybe as a background image, I'm sure you could, instead of a pattern, do an actual blown up image. Although this image was definitely not high enough resolution to be doing this. Just giving you an idea. You see, I can see the little pixels there, but you can change your color there. Okay, so I'll leave it like that. Although I think it looks cleaner with the white. You'll be able to kind of see, oh, okay, I can change this out. I can do some different things. I want you to know these templates are suggestions. They are not set in stone. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So a lot of you, I'm actually going to undo this. So I'm going to delete my group so that I can show you all how to export your elements separately. Okay, so this, and I'm going to delete this group because this is what we're going to do in class. I'm going to do the group only, not the contents. Okay, so a lot of times you're looking at a t-shirt template, and the whole idea here is, yes, we designed a t-shirt template, but it does not have to go just on a t-shirt. We are obviously going to be showing how to mock these up on several different types of items. Now, we're going to have another class next week where I show you all how to not just do the mock-up from a photo. We're actually going to make a blank template, as in take the measurements and do what it takes to make a physical representation of this that we can scale everything to when we get ready to print. So this specific class, we're not doing that. We are creating the mock-up, but we're not creating the blank template. Okay, so that we're going to break that up because I felt like I could do it in one class, and you know, I didn't want to put y'all through that in one class. Okay, so let me turn off my color swatches, and I want you to see a little something here. If I turn off this background, I have a foreground, and I'm going to call these two pieces my foreground. Everything that's pretty much above the background, I'm going to select those layers. And this is simple because there's only 2 layers, but sometimes y'all know how to design stuff. It'll be several layers. It'll have text and all this other stuff, right? So we'll do, hold these two, hold shift down to grab those 2. We'll do group, and then we'll call this foreground. Okay, so that's our foreground layer now, all by itself. Now, this background as it stands is already called background. Most of the time I'll have it called background. Sometimes you may need to add stuff to it and still group it and call it background. Well, check this out. You can right click on this background, on the word background, and we can export. We can do a quick export as PNG. That's going to export just the background. And it's going to call it whatever the name of my folder is here. Give it just a moment. So that's my new background. I'm going to call this one background-2 because it's my second variation. Same thing here with the foreground. If I want to know what it's going to look like as a PNG, I can see here, right click. I'm going to export that as a PNG. And it's going to be called foreground. I'll do a -2. And then let's say I want the whole thing as a 13 by 19. I'm going to enable my layer mask there. And now I need to grab everything and turn it into an art folder. And this is, we're not doing that in this specific class, but this is how you will grab all of your artwork from a t-shirt template and drag it into a Tumblr template or drag it into a journal template. So just a hint, we're going to be doing journals next week. So you'll get to see a sneak peek of that as a demonstration too. a physical demonstration. All right, so let me stop talking so I can work. Control G is going to group that. I'm going to call this now art, A-R-T. All right, so that's my entire art. If I right click and export that now, it's going to export my art. This is my 13 by 19 version, so I'm going to do art 2, and then this is going to be 13 by 19. And now I'm going to export the entire artboard with everything. So I'm going to disable this layer mask. This whole thing right here, I'm going to right click on the art folder. I'm going to quick export as a PNG. Now keep in mind, it's actually, these are high resolution files that we're exporting, so you could print from them. It's just that when you export as a PNG or export as anything, it does some funky stuff with resizing your image, so you have to make sure you bring it back to the right size. All right, so just to show you what I have in my folder right now, what I have saved when I did the export to artboard, I have that 13 by 19 artboard saved there. I have just the background by itself, which is not previewing that well, but just the background by itself is there, and then just the foreground is there. Okay. And we'll see when that is, when it's useful and appropriate. So that's it. That's all we're going to do as far as designing this particular template. Like I said, the idea is that we're able to quickly change this and update this so we can get to the good stuff. And the good stuff is you're making your own mock-up. Okay. So I'm going to pretend like you don't have this journal here, because this is what we're going to work on. You're going to add a journal. And then the week after that, we'll be adding a hoodie and adding mugs. Okay, so basically you're going to be adding on to this breadth of knowledge, so that this depth of knowledge can come. Okay, so it seems a little repetitive, but by you doing the mock-up plus the actual blank template, you're going to definitely get more in depth with your craft. All right, so that journal doesn't exist there. However, you will receive this photo right here. I already cut out, and let me save this as a PNG. Yep, let me go ahead and open this up and save it as a PNG, so you won't even have to worry nothing about it. And we're going to do some things to this, because basically this is the original photo, and I'm going to explain to you next week why we took the photo on a mat here, so that we would have an idea of the scale of everything to make our own template. But for now, I'm giving you this already cut out. You can use the pen tool. I use the pen tool on this one because I wanted clean edges, and Remove BG did not like the fact that I took this photo on a gray background. So keep that in mind. All right, so let me go ahead, just like I told you all, this is going to be the journal PNG. And I'm going to just export this as a PNG. So we'll have this in our folder. So you will go to your 150 Innate Academy folder and drag and drop your journal PNG right onto the artboard of this mockup. All right, and then we're going to scale it down a little bit. You'll put it in place, press enter to lock in the transformation, and this just has a little look to it that is a little too yellow for my liking. So we're going to double click, open it up, and we're going to change it to black and white. And then it's a little too dark gray here. We're going to do a levels change to it. And I'm brightening this to about 1.5 in the middle here. And then I'll take my shadows and bring them up to, hold on, once I get my shadows, I'm going to see, Yeah, I think I want a little more shadow. Brightness here. So let's do 2.3 here and 45 here. And then what's going to happen is once I close out of this and hit yes to save. Oh, I forgot. This is a PNG. So let me do this. I'm going to do this for y'all so this won't happen to y'all during class because I already know what's going to happen. I am actually going to rasterize this and then turn it back into a smart object. Guess what happens now? Boom, I can do as many layers as I want. So let's do a black and white again. I lied, that was color balance. Black and white. And then let's do the levels that we talked about. That way you can go back and change your levels if you get disappointed and you don't have to like merge it down. So I think I said 2.3 there, and what was it, 50 here? Thought it was 50 or 70, something like that. But at least we have it where we can edit it now. So I have 50 and 2.3 here. Now when I say yes, this time to save it, it's going to automatically save it because it is a smart object inherently, which means that it can preserve all of those layer edits. So see how it's nice and crisp and white now? We're going to take the pillow image, which is already a smart object, and we're going to alt click and drag it to, let's pull it to our, oh, you know what we have to do? Hold on, before we do that, let me make a folder just for the journal. So I'm going to bring it all the way to the top. Let's just bring it below pillow. And I'm going to bring it above pillow because if I tell y'all to bring it below pillow, I think we'll miss and drop it into the pillow folder, which will happen almost inevitably. So let's group this. And now we're going to turn this into journal. And I'm going to call this the journal group just to distinguish it from the journal that I already made there. And I think this one, y'all's will even come out better because you're getting to customize the lightness and stuff here. So let's go ahead and drag our image for the all over art. We're going to drag a version of it right above journal. And see how it's not clipped down to the journal? We can fix that easy with a right click and create a clipping mask. Boom, there she goes. Now this might be good because it's just a flat image. You can't really tell that it's not to the angles and the perspective of the journal here, but we're going to go a step further now. Let's go ahead and go to edit. We're going to go to transform and we're going to distort this because we kind of want it to follow the lines and give us a little perspective. So I'm going to take this tab here, this node, and pull it in just a little bit. And I'm going to take this node here, pull it in just a little bit. And I need to keep these even. I should have held down shift so I could have kept that one even too. All right, and just to make it not look stretched out, I'm going to bring these down just a little bit. And it may not seem like it, but just by creating this little bit of distortion here, it allows us to believe that that image might actually be in perspective on that object. Now there are some other objects when we mock up where if you really want it to look like it is a part of that object, when we mock up the mug, it's going to be a little bit different process because we're going to have to round that image around the mug in order for it to look like it is, you know, continuous and it wraps around that that cylindrical image. The skinny tumbler here is actually straight. The reason why is because it's so narrow and it's so straight that we almost get away with not having to curve that at all. So I'm just going to take that image and center it a little bit better there. And you see, once we get it on the product, you can move the image around. So let's say this shirt isn't where you exactly want it to be. I'm going to keep my collar in place. So I unlinked my mask there and I'm just shifting this over a little bit so it looks more centered. And then I'm going to lock my collar back in place because that is basically keeping the ink off of the inside of my collar, which I hope y'all are doing that when you're pressing the shirts too. All right, so that's it. So let's go ahead and show this entire thing. Let's take our journal now, and the new journal is the better journal because now it is a smart object. Let's see. I told y'all this was going to come out better. So let's delete that journal. I'm going to give you my journal, okay? But for the purpose of the class, you're going to turn off my journal and then you're going to do your own journal. So you will have mine, but the whole point is that you learn how to mock something up that you may not have a mock-up version of. Oh, we are at 50 courses. Yeah, so this is very fitting. A mega master mock-up is fitting for the 50th class. And congratulations to y'all for hanging out and sticking around this long. I'm here as long as y'all want or need me, okay? All right, and let's go ahead. Let's make sure we save this one before we get on to the next step, which is just to change out this artwork. So I'm going to right click and go to my all over art. I'm going to bring a version of this art all the way to the top. Delete that layer mask. I am going to turn off the eyeball for it so it doesn't confuse you. But I'll call this your all over art. Double click. So you want to double click this one in order to change it. All right. So it is nothing more than just a place saver. That's what a smart object can be too. So let's double click this one. And you see we have our all over art here. And because it is a smart object, I can actually keep those multiple layers there. So I want you to bring in your art for your project in class. Hit enter to lock in that transformation. Now because this is a smart object, I don't have to do like I normally have to do for my mock-ups, which is to flatten this image. But I don't want y'all to get in the habit of keeping a bunch of files here, especially with a mega mock-up file because it can be rather large. Okay? All right, so got that one saved. And you might say, well, why didn't this one change? Remember I told you there may be instances where you have something a little bit different that you want to show. Well, this is the 13 by 19 version. So I'm going to double click on the 13 by 19 version. Remember we saved a 13 by 19 version. It would be this one, 13 by 19, drag and drop it. And let's go ahead and pull that to the very top layer. We'll turn off everything else. And now that 13 by 19 will update. Now there might be some items that you would have to change out some of these individual elements, like there's a 13 by 19 here. And this one is the foreground. Remember I told you we were saving the foreground separate from the background. So let's double click on that foreground and let's pull our new foreground image in. It should be called foreground. Boom, there it is. Let's turn off this one. Yes to update. Oh, now this one, okay, so this one is not, this is just a straight up PNG. This one is not going to allow you to save that. Let me see if I can do this. I don't, y'all, the reason why I don't like to give y'all the option to have all these layers is because y'all will have all these layers. And then your mockup file will be huge. And the only purpose for a mockup file is really just to kind of show people. So you don't need a high resolution. You don't need it to be a big file. So I'm debating whether I want to get, okay, let's just make it easy. I'm going to go ahead and make this. And this will help you too, because it'll show you that you can bring images in as a particular file type. So right now this is a 13 by 19 and we're going to shrink it down just to go on top of the socks, and it is a PNG. I'm going to bring it in front. Now in order for me to basically turn it into a smart object that will be a Photoshop file, I'm going to go ahead and rasterize it and then convert it. Let's get rid of that. Then I'm going to change it to a smart object. That way you will have a small, if you're going to have all these layers, at least it's a little tiny one. But then that's going to mess you up when you go to put that on something else. Let me see. I want to make it big enough for you though. So let me go back before I rasterize it. That's it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So at least you can put it on a shirt or something. I'm trying to think ahead because I already know that I'm going to have some folks like, yeah, this file shut my computer down. All right. So we go ahead and rasterize it. And before we turn it into a smart object, we want the name to be whatever it is that we're going to name it. Let us convert it to a smart object. Double click on it, and then I'm going to put my Innate Academy foreground in there too, just to show you that's what it does. And then I'll turn mine off. We'll update that. And I have the foreground image up there, and then I'm also going to go ahead and do your 13 by 19 up there. So basically these are your master layers. So basically if you just stuck to editing these, it's going to do everything else automatically. So let me turn off the eyeballs there. And I'll call this one the 13 by 19. And I think we call that the art, 13 by 19. And this is just the art in general. And this one is called foreground. That way it's consistent with how we named our corresponding template here, right? All right, so let's take these foreground images, and because they're smart objects, if I do something to it once, it will update in all the other areas of that I use that. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this because I already rotated the socks. Alt click and drag, that's the second instance of it, and I'm going to get rid of my previous image there. And I will clip these down to the side. And I want y'all to notice what happened here with the socks. Remember I told you if you don't use the entire contour of the shirt when you're doing an all over print, you could just throw some socks on the sides underneath the sleeves, and it kind of gives you a matching. It's not necessarily going to be continuous, but it will match, and it goes with the flow of the all over shirt. And then if you wanted to do something like put your logo there, then of course you would have to be very careful about how you place that on your template. All right, so let's make sure that this works in reverse. I'm going to save this, and then we're going to go backwards now. I'm going to come all the way up to the top. I don't even have to touch any of these folders unless I want to. We'll go to our main art here, double click, turn off the Care Bear version, hit yes to update. Boom, that changed most of our items. We'll double click on the 13 by 19 art. Yes to update that one. All right, and now I just have to change that little foreground image. And this is going to make sense to you from here on out. We're going to start grouping our artwork. We're going to group it as the entire art, the foreground, and the background. And it's going to make a lot of sense to you since you all are using the t-shirt templates for other substrates. The way that I'm telling you to do this now, how to group your own layers, will make a lot of sense to you when we start designing other substrates like the journals, like the tumblers, because your foreground, now that it's going to be separated from your background, you don't have to worry about whether the orientation really fits your item, and you don't have to stretch your picture out super skinny and tall to fit a tumbler that was designed for a t-shirt. Okay, so this is getting y'all ready for all of the questions you've been asking me about, you know, will I make templates for different things? I will help you make blank templates for anything that you can imagine, and I will show you how to convert your all over t-shirt templates into anything you can imagine, so that you're not limited and waiting for me to make a template just for a specific keychain or anything else that you need. You'll know how to make it yourself. Okay, so that is the point of this class. I think we actually did pretty good. Normally I take like forever on these things. Let me see if I missed anything. All right, I think we're good here. Let me go ahead and close out of this one. I'm also going to go ahead and take this artwork back to the original. So you'll have these colors. They'll be saved in there. Let's go to the logo here. Let's bring back the Innate Academy. And then as far as the colors go, you just open up your color swatches. And because I duplicated the color swatches, I did not replace them. Then I can just go in and reveal the original color scheme. Now this can get, complicated too. So the more layers you have in the smart object, it doesn't make you feel so smart when Photoshop crashes your computer. So definitely, I'm all about the concept of smart objects and smart colors, but use them as best that your system can handle, and just smart. Use them smart, for real. All right, so let's bring that color back. So now we should have all of the original colors here. I also put this little mask here. You can turn it on or off, but I did realize that a lot of your substrates where you want the image to pop out better, especially like the tumblers, then just adding that layer mask really helps. So what I did was, this is the same layer mask that's on the 13 by 19, and I just duplicated it here so that you have something to contrast. All right, so I will go ahead and disable that layer mask. Oh no, I deleted the layer mask. That's not what I intended to do. I meant to disable it. I don't know why disable and delete are right near one another, but disable was the action I was going for. And then I'll leave this white one on because it does help your logo pop off of it. So just to let you know, what you need for class tonight is just your logo, and whatever color scheme you have in mind. You can do like I did tonight and just have a photo that embodies whatever color scheme you can imagine. It could be a sneaker, it could be a picture of a beach, landscape. It could be like a idea for a wedding board, wedding colors. Sometimes those will have swatches kind of pre-picked out for you. Whatever it is, just bring something onto the artboard, or have an idea of what you want to change these colors to, because I don't want you to be thinking like on the spot what to change the colors to. It helps to have that color inspiration. All right, love. So let me go ahead and get this uploaded for class tonight. If you're a VIP member, then of course you'll have a code that you can put in order to attend the class for free, to make sure that you're going to be attending the live class so you can participate with us. And if you are a standard member, then you can use your 67% off code to do the live class. Of course, these classes eventually unlock for you for free. So I never want to think you have to buy these classes when you're a member in the Academy. It's just whether you want them to be live participation or you want them earlier than they naturally unlock. You have a way of doing that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing saved for y'all and uploaded. And we will begin class at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's just in less than an hour and a half, y'all. So let me go ahead and get this uploaded for you, so I will see you in class. All right. So I'm going to tell y'all that I appreciate you. I love you dearly. And until next time, bye. Y'all take it easy.